Shibba-da-doo. Shibba-da-ba-doo. Shibba-da-doo. Shibba-da-doo. Spell things correctly. I am so completely organized after a long weekend away from the city. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Don't even worry about it. All right. Press a button. Boop. That's a button. Yes! I would love to start playing from that game data, as that's my game data. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Susato. Miss Susato? Ah! Excuse you? I just called your name. Oh no, what's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? You threw me? I was just trying to get your attention? And you yoked me. Nothing. I was just saying I'll be relying on your support today, but... Oh, I'm so sorry. Of course. I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but... I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet, then? Oh, dear. I'm really very sorry. Susato-san isn't her usual self at all. But that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She just found something out about her father that's a little... Yep. She's just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective. Not to mention... Ah! Good morning, sir. Hello? Whomster we good morning? Ah, Lord Van Zykes! Again, I know the game says Zeeks. I'm not saying Zeeks. I suppose it's like when I call the Genshin character Diona. It's supposed to be Diona. No. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. He just has resting bitch face. Leave the man alone. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. I'm sorry, would you be yourself if you were accused of murder? Actually, that's a silly question. You were accused of murder. Lord Van Zykes isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Stop reading my mind! Good point. The Reaper? I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all of this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zykes. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? It was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. Oh. I can't lie, I did actually have that thought. 'Cause it's like, Ace Attorney games are already so fucking weird, this might as well happen. That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod, to wield a deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. When I lost him, I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you. No fucking shit, Susato. Lord Clint Van Zykes. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that, beyond a shadow of a doubt, in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes. That burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Yay! You gave me a compliment! Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Hi, Iris. Oh, Iris! When did you get here? Oh. Ah, I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh. That's surely the first and the last time I will ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not! What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Scythe's laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh, yes. Would you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yeah, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? Looks more like a Hairley to me. If, for some reason, you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. Pull his ears. That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. Sorry, I have something in my eye. You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom. And it seemed very different to normal. Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. I have a feeling that, Strongheart, that's his name, is pulling rank on stuff. And scheming. I can sense the scheming. What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and he hadn't come back home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. Was Professor Rikatoba out all night too, do you think, Miss Susato? Yeah, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean. Judge Jigoku too? That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel for the defense and the defendant! Ooh, yay! Court! Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Don't ping at me, computer. Stop that. There we go. Now it won't ping. I turned on Do Not Disturb. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. We must go inside now, Lord Van Zykes. Lord Van Zykes has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. And who also wants to expose the truth! Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. Da-da-da! Courtroom! Yay! feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. I suppose that makes sense. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo! Look! Ah! Lord Strongheart! Someone's pulling out all the stops. Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to life that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all over the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. You changed your cane. It's a unicorn. Anyway, irrelevant. Fwiff, 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 fwiff. The 6 jurors' flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. Damn. Oh. Van Zykes ain't pulling any punches. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zykes. You were a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. And you're pulling even less punches. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Barock Van Zykes, who officially stands accused of murder. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daily Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification, and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work, when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. 'Cause whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinner's. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed 1 day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Ooh. Go ahead, Prosecutor Asogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. Hell yeah. It's entirely possible that Gregson was killed on the 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday, that the time of death was 5 p.m. on the 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. You were supposed to be neutral and fair, so shut your fucking mouth. Anyway, there are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. Late October, early November, London at this century? No, I don't think he was submerged in the Thames or anything, but like, there are ways. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Ooh. Let's play secret activities. Let's go. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. It's Gina. 'Cause Toby, the dog. State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina? Again? What's your problem, Otto? What's with that? Gina, again? Look, eh? Ah. Boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right. All out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes. No. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. Face. Lord Strongheart knew. No, I figured he knew. I kind of figured. I'm connecting dots. Do these dots actually connect? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. Alright, let's go, Gina. What you got for us? All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. A little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets? It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place at this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentlemen's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation this matter. Into close enough. Can't be. We haven't heard anything about this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Baroque Van Zykes, was present. That would be very significant testimony then. Oh my, but... Lord Van Zykes has made no mention of this. At all. In short, Lord Van Zykes had ample opportunity to murder the victim. Very well then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Unless I'm insane and he always had the unicorn. Yep. Figures. Alright. Now, let's dig a little deeper into the smuggled goods thing. Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. Was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. I'm just updating it. what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I gotta do is read it out. And I could, too. I got this reading game buttoned up now. Can I show you what I can do? Go on, what's the harm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? I insist. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. You did not explain any of that, my guy. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Bitch! Kazuma? Sorry, I'm checking out another thing. Whoa, what fucking clawed this? Whoa, someone got beamed with it too. It's blood. Excuse you. Whee. There's something inside. It's a passport. Was for travel on the... Oh. Oh. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered. Well, he didn't go to France. He fucking died. Anyway. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, then the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then! I get to show off my reading skills! Good for you, Gina. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Well, was I supposed to present that? Probably. So, was it a gentleman's club? I'm fairly sure that this said something about a steamship called the Grouse. The SS Grouse! Yeah. Was it a gentleman's club?
Objection!
Shwabam! I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Why are you looking so smug? You probably can't get in either. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse. The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on the 31st of October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. Miss Dark's young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Other side. Other side. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. Ah, this would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse. Whispers.
Objection.
Wow. So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on the 1st of November. Ah! The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, the 31st of October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. Would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection.
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Within 1 week from the 31st of October. Destination, Dunkirk. Purpose of travel, police business. Permission for the applicant and one additional person.
Take that!
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim? Oh. Dated 31st of October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just 1 day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? Well, the passport says police business. I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I don't ever mimic laughs. Or I try not to. Silly. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean, you knew about this? The prosecution's strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? Unraveling your little scheme one thread at a time, Mr. Strongheart. A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? Sorry, I have to play after. I'm a thirsty bitch today. The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. Ooh, let's get dramatic. What on earth are you saying, counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. Ooh, let's get dramatic. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Baroque van Zykes never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast-iron alibi, because he wasn't doing it, which tells us that he must have had an accomplice, or that he wasn't doing it. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson? What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? I'm sorry, that went full Canadian. My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zykes. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. I am probably entirely wrong, but I would put money on it being Lord Strongheart that's the true Reaper. Because he wants to be, like, super proud of his country's judicial system, and that no one gets away scot-free, and that, you know? Baroque van Zykes is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, you have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, counsel? Yeah, like, Gregson was gonna take Gina to France to get away from the Reaper. At least that's what he said. Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. That too. Professor Mikatoba and Judge Jigoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. Pfft. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. Deaths. Anyway, but I perhaps think you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. Oh, he failed in his mission, and so the Reaper killed him. Is that what you're gonna say? What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. Ooh, we're getting highlighted. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade? What? The victim's notebook that you read in excerpts from earlier. That doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. You're lying. Even if all them bludgers what got taken out had it coming. Boss weren't the Reaper. Oh, poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it. Then testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Ta-da. Reaper's notebook. Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates, and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was the 31st of October. It said grouse for the place on that date and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We only require established fact here. This must be so hard for her. You can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Stop full-naming me. What can't I deny? The notebook contained the name of the final mark, and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. Also fair. So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on 31st of October. Oh, how do you read this then? Reading's still not her strong suit. That ain't the problem, alright, Otto? Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We only require established fact here. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We only require established fact here. It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. So it's someone from overseas. Let me have a bash at it. Seishiro. Is it? Yeah. Seishiro. Jig-OK-U. Maybe. What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku? But that's Judge Jigoku! Seishiro Jigoku. Yeah, certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection.
No, we know who that is. But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku, and I saw him the day before yesterday. Here in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and returned to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake. So he killed the inspector. Personally. Okay. And did you, see this? The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Baroque Van Zykes. You're sticking with that. Makes sense. Let me just... Repositioning. It's fine. Alright. It's an undeniably logical argument. Why am I wet? Why is my hand wet? I've been drinking water, that's why. I just picked up the cap for the water bottle and it's just it's wet. So my hand's wet. Surprise. You planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it.
Whoa! Van Zykes! He has opinions! Hi. And a hallowed chalice! Pray, forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice whilst I stand accused of murder. Alright, we got proper dramatic Van Zykes. Let's go. Lord Van Zykes! The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. Ksh. That girl is no detective. Eh? What? Ah, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony. It's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. Ooh, he's upset. Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. Huh. A toast for the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction. Are you saying you're not impartial? I mean, given what dots are all like the red string in my brain. Yeah, he's not impartial. He wants to. Anyway, smack. Let's go. At once, my lord. I'm just gonna press. Press. Everything. In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you and all. That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and that notebook said what he found out. If I may, when originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed that the power to intimidate, not eliminate, London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you at its head? I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. You knew it said grouse? Believing it to be a reference to the Gentlemen's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone. Oh, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there. But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Oh, and it has... He wasn't actually going to take Gina to France. Oh... Anyway, irrelevant. He's dead, so his plans just... Bye-bye. Poof. Gone. Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I? Possibly. Names of victims, dates, and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was on the 31st of October.
Hold it!
Tell me more about that. I'm sorry, the Kleenex is behind me and I'm sniffly. Names of victims, dates, and places, and stuff? What in particular? Well, beside the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that? It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name, written over and over again. Asashin? You mean... Asashin? Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday? Asashin. The assassin. What? Like, a killer, you mean? Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? That's why Gregson had to go to France to get Judge Jigoku, is because Asashin bit it. If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. Then perhaps what it said on the passport document. Oh, and the one other person thing. Also, Ryunosuke, you know that bitch is fucking dead, right? Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been... clearly the assassin, who was meant to take Seishiro Jigoku's life? Gina, can you confirm that? Against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seishiro Jigoku. What name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it as it happens. What? It just had a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin. I have thoughts. I'm connecting dots. I do not like where it's going, but I'm connecting them.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, I'm pressing everything. And you're saying the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku? That's what it said! Funny name if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, after that fateful case. Precisely. In the aftermath of the professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. You see, he got in trouble because he testified for his bestie Genshin. I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here's just got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. Go for it.
Hold it!
What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me. I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the professor case, I'm sure. Yes, of course, you're right. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. Okay, yeah, I'm connecting dots. I do not like where they're going. It was a pitiful situation, yes. And forgotten all about it. But I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens. Was considered to be an adjunct to the professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike? No. Are Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Jigoku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the Mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Yeah, the Reaper's vindictive, but the Reaper ain't fucking Van Zykes. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd, killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly, the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. Anyway. Oh! Right. I've had just about enough of this. Gina? All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people? It's cobblers. Come on, Otto. Yes? Why ain't you saying nothing? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? You gotta find a flaw. You do, usually. Someone's lying here. No question. You gotta work out who it is. Please. For the boss. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. Strongheart, she's just a girl. She's just a girl. You're being mean to her. Like, she's only 16. 18. Oh, yeah, she's an adult. She's just a girl, though. Susato is the one who's 16. Is that clear? I've had it with the lot of you. It's lies every bleeding place you look in this world, isn't it? I've had enough. Gina? So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean... I'm not gonna let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. Alright. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm pressing you. I'm sorry. I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Title drop. Anyway. Eh? What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency. Really, Otto? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... telling me about a different... Kazuma.
Take that!
I'm sorry, Kazuma. I'm throwing you under a bus. By you, Kazuma Asogi. Is this some attempt at filibustering, Counsel? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. Very well then, counsel. Go ahead.
Take that!
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. A bloodstain? A relatively fresh one. And Kazuma goes, shit. What? You mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it. Me, with me nose for trouble. Which means nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. Guess what? You're in fucking trouble now. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. You shouldn't have known it was a metal trunk. Like, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? Nobody would have assumed that. Like, if he was just going to assassinate someone, he would have taken, like, the passport and maybe a change of clothes in a little baggie. We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport? If he was just going to assassinate... Yeah, hell, he might have just taken the passport in a pocket. But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st of October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... I hadn't considered the possibility before, but... if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose. Oh, no. Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think... Come on, Ryunosuke. You know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Are you challenging me to prove it, beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector. He was there? With Gregson. There's a clue you've overlooked, a secret the trunk can tell us. Can't be sure at this point, I'll need to verify it. Something slashed it! It got like, shoo! That big ol' gaping fucking hole in the leather. I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Alright, let's pop this bad boy. There? Yeah.
Got it!
Present, don't investigate. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. Eh? A blade? So I was thinking that gash was like a slice and not like something else. Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it here in this courtroom for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Asogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Swing. Ah! Oh no! The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed? Kazuma Asogi. I can full name you too, but... anyway. Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi? Yes, on the 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. The fact that he's just flat confessing that is mildly concerning. You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk, but I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it? We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the Channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Jigoku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then What became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing, as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. Fairly sure you kind of do. This is a concerning turn of events. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. We must take immediate action now, to verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed. I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say... He could be dead! Let's be dramatic. Anyway. That you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? What? Oh no. Panic. The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal. And he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zykes? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order? Order in court. Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. No, not Judge Jigoku. No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake... My lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin? I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either, but on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. Something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku. I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. Strange sensation that we were careering. Typo. Careening towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us. The bunny! If, for some reason, you completely run out of options in the trial today, just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. Oh, who's ready to yoink? Perhaps now is the time. Should I do pull Hurley's ears or not? Yoink! Here goes then. I'm gonna do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. No looking back. Heave! Ow! That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes? Where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here! It's the felt doll talking? Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright, then I'll put all my strength into it. Heave! Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left Dover last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We're currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? The steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Herlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective? Recited to perfection, well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes, that's the only word for it. Susato. Ow, 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 ow. Miss Susato, gently with this genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday, when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We've just entered a recess. The trial resumes 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads, then I'm afraid to say... Do not fret, please, for it's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. You'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, 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 ow. I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operated in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikatoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. Itchy. So, let us begin. Wee-hee! First class cabin number 2. Yep, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow. Why you are loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor Chicken Stroganoff when you see... I'm sorry. A, the name. B, the fucking grade schooler signature on his muscle. Alright. Chicken Stroganoff. Great detective? Ha! I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikatoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. It's me. Is that a tattoo? That says Sholmes? Must say, whilst such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. Wait, if you flip that upside down, it's probably like characters or something. It's numbers. It doesn't say Sholmes, cause the way his arm is, that. If he wrote with his arm like that, yeah, no, it. I tried to press the space bar on my computer. That doesn't. What are you talking about? Leave! Now! How distressing my loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. That is not something that says Sholmes. And yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? He's met your brother. Elementary, my dear Mikatoba. I am sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There is no one with this name on board. We know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Is he fucking running away? Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Seishiro's realized we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No! I have orders to not even let Mouse inside. Mikotoba, be a good man and draw this sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. We are discussing this right in front. Even sailors have ears, both left and right. Curses! The plan is ruined. And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock? Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man! So the game is afoot! There's a mousetrap, there's a guy. So this is a lot like the Buria. In form. The crewman wouldn't be able to see, but neither would you. No, I think not. That would never work, surely. Need to concoct another distraction. And I go... This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if this thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. I mean, yeah, but it would distract this guy. It would distract Chicken. Do it! Pardon me in advance. You! What are you doing? If we were at sea, this would be very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff, report at once. Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. No, not by me. By world famous... No, as I told you. Now, Sholmes, now! Done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't stand there gawping at my brilliance, Mikotoba. In we go. Oh, yes. Shoosh. Wow, we inside. It's a mess in here. Would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there. They're Seishiro's, without question. Well, it seems we are just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. That burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed, he may. Which makes this all the more thrilling. This is the waste paper basket. Look! There's still rubbish inside. Indeed? Then let us pry. Discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. You have fun with that. I sincerely hope only for your work. Ah! Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. The night before we arrived in London, then. When I was still aboard myself. Following departure from the port of I was reading that. It was an evacuation drill, I remember now. Oh, I can't read it. I can't look at it. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. Oh, I can look at it. Eventually. Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it... Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off. We're about 2 hours late on finding Jigoku. Right? That was what it was said? We're about 2 hours late on Jigoku. How long does ice take to melt? Because that ice water is still ice water and not just cold water. Ice, Mikatoba. Ice. What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. Enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of stuff. Dots are being connected. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikatoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. Presumably, Mikatoba has enough skill. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know. Why is there stuff like jammed all up in the speaking tube here? Look, though it's been stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed, so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Something have happened here that was for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects. Pets are strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases. The good old someone did something stupid, so they had to make a sign about it. I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination. What about the fact they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There is nothing important about trifles. It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Shabba-da-boo, shabba-da-doo. It's a very sizable trunk indeed. Seishiro is partial to all things large. And a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he'd left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will be quite different, though. Sadly not. It has a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. Well, let's look at this. Something got torn off the wall, eh? The wall is a slightly different color just here. Do you see? Indeed, what you have observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief. Now there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late. I think we should perhaps focus our attention elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. I mean, if we're going off the SS Buria, that's where the rules of passage are supposed to go. Ah, Able Seaman Stroganoff. Hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. Eh? You are waiting for me. Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. I am probably pronouncing his name wildly incorrectly. But it's chicken. It's our guy Chicken. Chicken! Chicken Stroganoff. It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off. Now. Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there is something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally. The debunking of your deceit and the bearing of truth. Kakoi? I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. And for another, my dear seaman Stroganoff, you know exactly where the man is, even as we speak, don't you? How can you... Good gracious, Sholmes, you mean you've worked it out? All of it? It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance of my inimitable logic and reasoning? Nothing would please me more. What is this? We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago. Duh! That is what I said. Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. Ah, yes, of course. 2 hours. Ice. I see you've noted this too, Miss Mikatoba. Then please, do take the lead. What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku leaving? See what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills then, Mikatoba. It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes, not 3. Why, of course it has, quite. Now all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. As I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe, and the answers become clear. So, impress me. I think I can manage that. The ice. It's like, I'm sure people have noticed that the ice in their glass at a restaurant is gone before they finish a meal. Boom. Does he tap dance? Did he just tap dance? To present the fuck, sir? Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. How curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. It would appear that the man who was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival, with this well-chilled glass in hand. Get your mind off of the refreshments, Sholmes. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? But why would Seishiro run from us? Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? Ah, that's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door, and Seishiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage. As I suspected, for you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide. What traces? I know nothing about this. Ah, this is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff? Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't have escaped your notice. It's the key to this, Mikatoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here are being masked by something quite incongruous. Must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikatoba. No, quite. But life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here. You have the floor, my dear fellow. Maybe that's why Sholmes... He's so used to having a second person actually point out the decent... like, actually point out the evidence. That he's just like... Oh, this random... That he was just like... Broken teacup. The tap dancing is questionable, but it's the rules of passage in this frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put there in a hurry. Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded, that frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match. Duh, you are right. When did frame move? Oh, I'm sure you know. I'm sure you know, chicken. Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganoff? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. So, Mikitoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? Da-da-da-da! It's a hole. That looks like a bullet hole. But who has been shooting walls? I see the projectile has been removed. Clearly, the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff. I have the distinct impression you're attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern Stranger? Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. So you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by... I really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes. Ah, my dear Mikitoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle, and I'm quite sure you'll see it. In fact, I'd put a wager on it. So I'm to glare at the fellow from all sides? Well, I can certainly do that. It's not the scarf. It's not his belt. It's not his fuck-ass tattoo. Rotate. Rotate. Probably. Been bribed.
Take that!
The tap dancing. It's almost too obvious for words. Quite the universal language of the world. Money. And I'd wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku, yes? So I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. But... I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. As always, Mikitoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. So I think you're onto something there. You found the chink in this burly fellow's armor. We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink. Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. That was a very obvious furtive glance, but thank you. You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man turned his entire head. It's not exactly what you'd describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. We shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow. I'm so glad that Sholmes is diegetically bringing that up. Anyway,
Take that!
it's the trunk. Tap dance. You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? The truth is, Seishiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time. That's why his clothes are like all strewn around the... and is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk. Socks. Ugh. That's what I was saying, that's why his clothes are on the floor. If he still has a breath to take, I fear he might be running dangerously low on air. Oop, boop, 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 boop. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interests for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure. Of course. In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside the trunk... Oh, so that's Jigoku's handwriting! He must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. Or it's Chicken's. It's his chicken scratch! Ha! Anyway, as I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff. No, I know nothing about combination code. Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Huh? Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk? How on earth do you expect me to... It's a 7-digit number, remember? Quickly now, we have little time.
Take that!
Click. I did it! It's open! You had to meddle, didn't you? He's all folded like an origami. Well, Eugene, you've found me now. Seishiro. I was really hoping beyond hope to not find you here, you know? But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, quite. I just wish it were some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me? Your reputation. Yeah, no! Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of many of your exploits. Excuse my manners, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jigoku, my old friend and traveling companion. The devil is in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say, your old friend and traveling companion, who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour. I see my reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Well, Seishiro, are you going to explain all this? You know it all by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here in this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey? Yes, I've sent her. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. I'm connecting dots. That's what that snap was about. And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed, fucking words, until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it. I'm afraid so, yes. Of course I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you. It's somewhat surprising, I must say. What is? Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available. So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. The cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket, and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin. So you'd already purchased your return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else taking this cabin and seeing the evidence. Is that it? Eugene, I have nothing to say to you. Well, in a mere 5 minutes, the ship will set off on its onward voyage and not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once. You have no jurisdiction over my movements. We have this, Seishiro. Take it. What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugene. Come on, let's go. One moment. What is it, Sholmes? Inside Mr. Jigoku's trunk. I found this rather fascinating trinket. That's the watch thing. That's the thing from the watch. Gregson was here. What is that? Seishiro? I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something. But what? I have no idea. By the look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know. The fact that I could go, oh my gosh, it's from the packet watch. Well, let us pocket it as a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France. Woo. Small component. I know what it is. Well, young Naruhodo, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. Doo-ba-doo-doo. The Old Bailey courtroom. Kazuma Asogi. I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie, but still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying. During the past 30 minutes while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. Well, I ascertained them so. We must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict.
Objection.
No. No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. Well, my sword has just been fucking sharpened! And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all of the evidence and heard all relevant testimony. And there can be only one consideration, that the accused is guilty. All relevant testimony? Far from it. Sorry, I have a sharp little bit of nail that's bothering. There's still a crucial witness from whom the court has yet to hear a single word of testimony. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? Seishiro Jigoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku? You found him. Take that. But the investigations of every policing resource in the capital suggest that Jigoku is already dead. Independent investigators. How in the name of God did you find the man? He was located in France during the recess, at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions. Herlock Sholmes. Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death. Because along with Prosecutor Asogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Jigoku takedown! Which means that Seishiro Jigoku is the sole witness, who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Well, it would appear it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point. The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side? No, I'm gonna get through half of this episode today and half on Wednesday, I think. So, like, we should be done the game on Wednesday. I say half because I'm going to go through the next section of the episode. No objections, my lord. We live to fight another day by the skin of our teeth. The unexpected halt of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. Ooh. Nummy. We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it! I believe you had an even more wearing day than Mikotoba and I know. You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. So this prosecutor, Asogi, had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible. To think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. When all this started, almost a year ago now. Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth of what really happened back then. But the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now then, I must say, it's quite a journey all the way to France. It is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Judge Jigoku? We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man. Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Ah, yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put it upon you for the matter only yesterday. The telegram that Susato gave to her father to send back to Japan to... You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well. Oh, you've had a reply already. What was so urgent, though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present. Well, that's good news, because supper is ready, everyone. Ah, and what a feast it is! If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial was won already. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding. Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up. In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well. Oh, sorry, Hurley, not there. Hmm? Why ever not? Are we in set places this evening? Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy. For me? That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey. I see. Well, that's terribly kind of you. Professor Mickey. It's a shame, really. What do you mean? Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean. Did you? Give us the go. Iris, do you mean... Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened into the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left. What? Bye. On the floor. Bye. The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris's father. What the fuck? Is it you? Was it you? Yes, about that, Iris. You know, I know. You can't tell me at the moment. Oh, Iris. Probably not. No, it wouldn't have been. The pheasant is by way of an apology. Sorry for eavesdropping. Oh, no, that's quite all right. Why don't I get any apologetic pheasant? So just who is Iris's father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. I'm going through the characters we know of. Anyway. So then, let us dine, while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. A fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious. Eat as much as you'd like. There are always seconds. This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan and about Kazuma. Can't let this opportunity slip away. Speaking of telegrams... Oh, I don't have it. What do you mean I don't have it? Mean to me? I probably have to ask about it. So, Hurley. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Oh, are you sulking? 'Cause you didn't get any pheasant? Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes. Are you sulking 'cause you didn't get any pheasant? Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy. Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer? Mr. Sholmes, could I discuss some things with you? Certainly, my dear fellow, I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt, you're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game. I can probably contain my curiosity on that one. You needn't look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. Eh. Alright, let's chat. The telegram. So what was in the telegram you received back from Japan, then? Ah, this? I thank my lucky stars it arrived in time. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows. K. Asogi / A. Shin. T. Gregson / J. Wilson. We've come across that exact same list before. They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. With the Morse code? What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. A plot that involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states? In exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. K. Asogi Ashin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. Don't push that button. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. Oh, I really do feel like Strongheart's in on it. So, why are the names coming up again now? Where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes? I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names. Need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. You used my fucking name for this? I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you? And in my name? Wonder what guys he opted for this time. That's actually a really good question. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand. Anyway, the list of names was found in Seishiro's office, as Sholmes predicted. So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was sent to Judge Jigoku? He was the intended recipient. Don't believe it. But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies. I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. Now I have it. Kazuma's death. What's your great lie? That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Burya was all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. Why? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, Yumi. Precisely, Miss Susato. And then I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead. You mean... The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One a university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Asogi. I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least. Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? Oh, Sanaga. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer and the study tour can continue, surely. There's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Oh, is that why he was going the... Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. So, you manipulated me. I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. Don't believe it. But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her? Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. I seem to remember Miss Susato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure. Wonder if she made it to America, then. I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain? The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see. An omen that, at this moment in time, is close at hand. Ooh, that's not good. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. So, what do you know about this? There was no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched, so... You obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found. Okay, Asogi, Ashin. T. Gregson J. Wilson. But we only learnt of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now. And only because they appeared as part of the top secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yes. But at the time, you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that. Approximately this time last year, in fact. While you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments. You're perpetually doing what? How? Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes when he has designs on knowing it. Yours, you're a nosy little bitch. Oh my, Mr. Sholmes, what a fabulous line. Mine was more succinct. Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learnt of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow. Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected. As J. Wilson and A. Shin are both dead. T. Gregson is dead, but K. Asogi is the only one still kicking. Tell us. As I said, when I learnt of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names, because, you see, there was someone else on the list who I believed to be recently deceased. K. Asogi? A. Shin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script. In actual fact, Miss Asa Shin. That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes. But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder, disguised as Giselle Brett. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. Except she wasn't killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list. K. Asogi and T. Gregson. Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself. But I determined it would be safest if young Asogi was to stay away from Britain. So that's why you went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead. So, you already knew who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Sholmes. Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I'd recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letter, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course. So, Dr. Wilson is dead, then? He wasn't actually your father? Calm down. I didn't know. Oh, Iris. Right, we kept it from her because we thought he was her father. I know he wasn't my daddy, but still, that's very sad. I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No. But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis. A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo? Ah, yes, you mean Asa Shin, I presume. Oh, of course. Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett. Glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow. But I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis I'd formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy. What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sholmes? I had believed all 4 names on the list to be the names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Assassin was a killer. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it? Indeed, and it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain for the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status merely being a front. Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions. Which means Gregson was supposed to kill Kazuma? So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Assassin is because he was the target of an assassination. And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective. My question is, if it was the Reaper organization sending assassins to knock off targets, why was Kazuma targeted? Because he had not stepped foot in England before the game started. Was it simply the connection to... Well, does it not strike you? There is another among the 4 who subsequently became a visiting student. Or was Kazuma supposed to be an assassin the whole time? You mean... But of course, a name you know only too well. You mean Kazuma? He did say in court earlier today. Yes, on the 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. So what did Gregson do that got him targeted? Young Mr. Asogi accepted that mission a year ago now. Surely not. In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange. Let's assume that we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those 2 parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange. So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange. But what on earth is the point? Don't forget, Naruhodo, that the British assassin at least escaped conviction. Thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction. Yes. Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our two countries. So the fact it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels. These murders were two sides of the same coin, linked not by a common votive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated, yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular, devilish scheme. Murder. Or something like that. That disassociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. But wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, it would mean the Japanese killer's target was never Seishiro Jigoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson. So Judge Jigoku wasn't actually the mark. That's exactly what it would mean. I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes. I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow. Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition. That he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. This is too much to take in. All right, everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time. Ah, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations? Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember. It is a little bit sad, though. I mean, I liked the idea of you being my daddy. 'Cause then Susie would have been my big sister. I'm sorry, Iris. I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? But if somebody like me would be worthy, I would be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? I mean, you can see yourselves as sisters. Oh yes, without question. So, you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Runo to the floor? Fear. We'll call that fear. Fear is 3 feet tall and pink. Yes, of course. It would be my pleasure! Fear. It didn't have to agree quite so readily. Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's gonna be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Runo. Huh? I mean, yeah, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well. Because being sensitive is your strong suit. Naturally. Super sensitive. Right. I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now. Because it's for my big brother and sister. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what? You'll just have to wait and see. Oh. Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. So the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths whilst posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend has somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. Well, you already have the light. It's your friends and your family. So I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world, standing steadfastly behind me. Ah! That's cute. That's adorable. And we shall continue on Wednesday. Oh, I'm so excited to finish the game. I'm curious about where it's going. I don't know what I'm gonna do after. I'll probably do some filler kind of stuff with the Mystery Dungeon. I'll probably play Mystery Dungeon. A cough syrup ass rescue team. That's probably what I'll be doing on Friday is Mystery Dungeon. I don't know what I'll pick up after as like a side secondary thing. Because I'm not going to just straight Mystery Dungeon. Who knows? I might have the DLC by then. It could be DLC. It could be Paper Mario. I got that recently. Any other Ace Attorney games. Maybe something on my computer. Who knows? Not me. We'll figure it out. But I'm going to do my best to finish the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on Wednesday. The only thing that means I might not do it, I might actually be coming down with something, and if I'm like sick, I won't be streaming. So, you know. That's not if I don't stream on Wednesday, it's not like, oh, she's giving us a cliffhanger. No, it's because I'm sick. But I will attempt to conclude the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on Wednesday, and I will see